Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Damar here with a brand new tutorial video. Now in today's video we're going to look on our immune system, the immune response and just immunity overall. So your immune system is very important when it comes to prevention of diseases, protection from pathogen and also protection from self-inflicting injuries. Now, immunity is just the body's way of keeping a balance, keeping a clean environment free from any injuries, free from any pathogens. All right, so just protection of your system and to enhance the normal functioning. Now, immunity can be in two forms. It can be protection of oneself against anything that's foreign. So, like your bacteria, as we said before, your viruses, your fungi, your protozoas, right? But not only that, but immunity also exists to prevent autoimmunity and also to prevent your body from attacking itself. So sometimes your body doesn't recognize its own cells and it will think that okay, this is foreign and start attacking it. All right? So immunity is needed for prevention of this as well. There are two major divisions of immunity or the immune response. The first one is innate immunity. Innate immunity is also called native or natural immunity. So it's very similar to the dictionary meaning of the word. Now, the things that you're supposed to know for innate immunity: one, it's fast to response. So it's like the Shelley and Fraser price of your body. So you know Shelley and Fraser price is always quick when it comes to starting and getting out of the blocks. So similarly, these cells, which are your macrophage and your neutrophils, they are just close to the epithelial cells, ready and waiting for a foreign pathogen to come along. Another example is like a king and a queen in a castle and they have an army. So the army has a lot of men or guardsmen, but there are some standing right at the gate. In case of a war, they are there to respond as quickly as possible or to get rid of the slightest invasion, I should say. So the neutrophils and the macrophage, which are the cells of innate immunity, they are much like the guardsmen at the gate. So if there's any invading pathogen, it will be the first to see and it will be first to respond to them. They're also non-specific in that they'll just try to invade the pathogens and try to get rid of them. In the case that they can't get rid of these pathogen or the innate immunity is not enough, they will send for backup. So they'll send for like their strongest guardsmen to come and help them fight now, because this is more than they can handle. And that's when these B and T cells comes in and they will know if it's a virus or a bacteria and how to respond to it. So innate immunity is just a non-specific quick response to try to get rid of the pathogen. However, if they can't, then adaptive immunity takes over. Adaptive immunity includes your B and your T lymphocytes. And we should say these are like the strongest men in the army. So the reason why they are slower to respond is that you don't want to get worked up over nothing, especially if it's something that the innate immunity can get rid of. So you want to save your strongest men and your energy for when the battle gets hot and you know you need this extra push, extra force, right? So B and T cells are like this. So they are more specific in that B cells now, they will respond to like bacterial infections in most cases to produce antibodies, and T cells are more for viral infections to produce cytotoxic chemicals and things like that. Now, the innate cells, it can be of two types. It may be mechanical. When you hear mechanical, think about barriers, right? Or it may be physiological. So mechanicals are like your skin, alpha protection, your GI tract, with your own natural bacteria in your respiratory tract. And physiologically, as we said before, your neutrophils or your macrophage cells. Adaptive cells includes your B and your T cells, which are involved in secondary response. Also, these lymphocytes have memory cells. So in the case of a secondary exposure, this will more likely be the response. Now let's zoom in on the adaptive response. So adaptive response include your lymphoid tissues or organs. So there's a difference in the maturation of the T cells and B cells. However, they are made in the same place. So both the B and T cells are made in the bone marrow. However, the T cells go to the thymus to mature, while the B cells mature in the bone marrow. All right, so BB, bone marrow, B cells maturation. TT, thymus, T cells maturation. Your lymph nodes, your spleen, and other lymphoid organs may also be involved in the adaptive response. Substances can also be secreted. These include your cytokines, your chemokines, and antibodies from plasma or B cells. All right, so there are two types of adaptive response. The first one is the humoral response, and humoral response usually include your B cells, right? B cells, humoral B cells, HB. Think about the pencil. And number two, the cell-mediated response, which is your T cells. We'll talk about these two types of adaptive response in future videos. So the last thing that we're going to look on today is cells of the immune response. So we're just going to briefly look on the different kinds of cells that exist and their roles. All right, so the first and most important one are our lymphocytes. So as said before, there are two types, the B cells and the T cells. Just to reinforce, the B lymphocytes, they are made in the bone marrow and matured in the bone marrow, and they produce antibodies. The T cells, they are also made in the bone marrow. However, T and T, remember, T cells mature in the thymus. Right? So the next cell that we're going to look on is the dendritic cells. Now think about dendrites and in the brain and all that branching. So the dendritic cells are branched, but most importantly they are close to the epithelial and the intestinal cells. So when a pathogen enters, they will pick these pathogens up and then present these antigen or pathogen for the other cells to come along and destroy them. So one such cell is the natural killer cell. So the natural killer cell, they destroy anything that seems to be foreign. However, if a cell is damaged and it cannot repair itself, then the natural killer cell is responsible for destroying this as well. Now the last type of cell is your macrophage. This is very important. It serves two roles: phagocytosis, in which it can engulf these pathogens and digest them, and also to present these antigens to the B and T cells. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.